Hi, this is Claudio Vidas. And if you recall, you were at my presentation on 2/7/2024. It was called Through the Roof Riches. And at that time, I promised that I would send you a copy of it. I was not able to actually record that presentation, but I did create the new web version of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the presentation, send it over to you. And please, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you reach out to me at your convenience. I would love to talk with you and make sure that you have your business ready for sale when you need to and when you want to. So without further ado, let me get started with my presentation. So through the roof riches, maximize the value of the sale of your roofing business. First of all, a little bit about myself. My name is Claudio Vilas. As you know, I started my first business when I was 18. It was a business that actually was a English teaching institute, and I taught English to executives from different American companies. Then I joined Johnson & Johnson as a sales rep. And after many years, I retired a few years ago to become actually a business broker. I am a unabashed defender of capitalism, entrepreneurship, and individual rights. So I want to help entrepreneurs through their life, and especially when they decide to retire. And that's why I became a business broker. The purpose of this presentation actually is to really bring awareness to the importance of always being ready to sell your company. I know that most business owners are not thinking about that until the time that they sell it. But think about this. Even if you want to do everything well planned, when a buyer comes to your company, he's going to look at your last 3 years history. So if you were not prepared 3 years ago to sell your business today, well, then you're going to have to rush and make sure that you put everything in order. So it's always important to sell your business, to be prepared to sell your business. We're going to go into that in a few more slides. Having an exit plan does not mean only selling the business, but what you're going to do with your money, with your employees, with your family, with yourself, with your free time, and what have you. An exit plan is really important to have. Maximizing the value of your company. If you know what your buyers are looking for, you really can maximize the value of your company for them. The truth is that if you leave this presentation with more questions than answers, I really think I will have done my job, because this subject is really complicated and really in-depth, and people don't really think about it that much until they have to. So if you are educated about the whole process in order to have questions, that means that I will have done my job. And of course, you can call me anytime if you have any questions. So why should you be ready to sell now? Well, I said a little bit about that in the first slide, but these are some examples of things that I actually lived through. I had an owner that she had a really good offer by a buyer, and she wasn't ready for it. So she could not take advantage of it, and the deal fell through. And this was about $12 million deal. A friend of mine actually got diagnosed with cancer, and of course he could not continue with the company. He had to sell it. Again, he wasn't ready for sale. Of course, neither Mary nor Robert are the real names, but the people are actually real, and both of them are friends of mine. I got another friend who got a divorce, and he needs to sell the company to pay off, all the expenses, and divide with his wife. And of course, again, not ready to sell at that point. So, you really never know when you will sell your business. So you always need to be ready for that. So the question is, when is the best time to sell your business? Well, I would define that as your business. You want to be ready to sell your business when you want to and not when you have to. So that is the best time to sell it. Don't try to time the market. I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but the truth is that you shouldn't try to time it. It's always a bad time to sell. It's always a bad time to buy. You're going to have a lot of naysayers on either side. So timing the market is not the best strategy. And don't wait until you get too tired of the business. Why? Because it takes a long time to actually prepare the business to sell, and they go through whole selling process and the due diligence and the quality of earnings and so forth. So that really takes a toll on you, and we're going to talk about that as well later on. So if you're too tired, some people just stop the process altogether because they just can't go through it. So don't wait until then. Don't wait until sales are declining. Again, we're going to talk about that in a few minutes as well. Listen to your heart. And I think this is one of the best advice I could give you. If you're getting tired, if you're not in love with your business anymore, if going to the office is a burden on you, that's the time that you have to think of selling your business and make sure that you get ready for it. And of course, being ready to catch an opportunity. Like I said before, I have people that, and you probably got too, emails from somebody that says that's interested in buying your business, and they might be a good opportunity for you. But if you're not ready for it, you're really not going to be able to grasp that opportunity. Now, let's talk a little bit between the have to and want to. And again, I want you to be able to sell your business when you want to, not when you have to. But in business brokerage, we do have a saying that there are 4 Ds for the reasons for people who actually sell the business. So the first one is disease. Like I said, my friend with cancer. The second one is divorce, my friend Peter. Distress is one that I didn't talk about in the other slide, but that unfortunately is one of the most common reasons. Your business is not doing well, so you want to get rid of it. Well, when you want to get rid of it, it's very hard to have people interested in your business. And of course, they're not going to be paying the amount of money they could have paid when the business was doing well. So distress is a very big reason for selling the business. And the final 4 is death. And this happened to me just 6 months ago. The father was an elderly gentleman, and he delegated the business to his son. The son took over the business, but unfortunately, he died in a car accident. And now the father has to sell the business, and the business is not ready to sell. So his father is not going to be able to capitalize from all the hard work he did throughout his life, and his son was taking over. One, two, well, the first one is move. Many people move in this country. We move from one state to the other, and sometimes you need to do it because you need to sell the business because you can't really manage the business from afar. You want to change industries. Many people want, get tired of an industry. They want to go to something else. They want to do something different, and they do change industries and sell their businesses. Cash out is a really good reason why you would like to sell your business, even if it's doing great today. And I'm probably going to do other webinars specifically on how to work on a cash out strategy. So basically, take some chips off the table, make sure that you protect your hard-earned money, and if your business goes well in the future, you can actually continue to capitalize from it, but you're not risking 100% of your money in your own business. Retire, that's another really good reason for selling a business. And the last one, like I said before, seize an opportunity. If you're interested, if you get somebody that's interested in your business and you can sell it to them, that's the best time to actually sell your business. Now, don't wait too long. This is the typical life cycle of a business. The introductory stage, the growth stage, the maturity stage, and the decline stage. The first introductory stage is not the best time to sell your business because your business is all about future. People don't know what the future will bring, and they don't have any history to look at. So they will pay a lot less for your business, and if they buy it, they would probably ask you to agree on earnouts and other things. Now, the second stage is the growth stage. This is a good time to sell the business. Why? Because people look back in your last 3 years and they see that it's growing. They see that you're adding more clients. They see that you're increasing your capital. You're increasing your employees. You're investing in marketing, and that's what people really like. When buyers look at a business, that's what they look like for. But it's not the best time to sell the business. Why? Because your cash flow is not going to be as high as it could be later on in the maturity stage. And why is that? Because, like I said before, you're investing in the business, and that investment in the business really can affect your cash flow. The maturity stage is a really good time to sell. This is actually the best time to sell. Why? Because people will look back and they will see that the trend is good and you're maximizing your cash flow. So this is actually when you're going to get the best pay, the best price for your business. Unfortunately, many people miss that curve and they end up selling at the worst possible time when the sales are declining. So that is not the good time to sell. It's actually the worst time to sell And unfortunately, most people sell at this time. Tips to sell your business when you want to versus when you have to. The number one is to be always ready to sell. I said it a few times, and I think that's one of the key takeaways that you have to take from this presentation. Also, know the current value of your business. You know the value of your house. You know the value of your car. You probably know how much money you have in your investments, in your other investments, but very few people know what is the current value of their business, which is, in my view, a very big mistake. Then, once you know the value of your business, how to increase that value. What are buyers interested in when they go and look for your business, for a business to buy? Well, if you know that, you know how to increase that value. Those are called value drivers, and they also are a good subject for a whole presentation. Exit plan, we discussed it before. You have to know where you're going to go when you sell the business and have that exit plan really well outlined. Be on the lookout for selling opportunities. There's nothing better than receiving a call from somebody that says, hey, I want to pay more than the market will pay for your business. And the last one is, making sure that there's a buyer out there that would like to pay more than average for your business. So some of the indicators that you're ready to maximize the value of your business are, number one, have you kept up-to-date financial records? If I go and ask you, what your expenses were for the last month, do you know what they are? Are they well organized? Are they in the right accounts? Believe it or not, most businesses don't keep this the way they should. Do you have a recent professional evaluation? Just as like I said before, you need to have a valuation for your business. Can your business operate efficiently without your involvement? Your involvement in the business is not an asset, it's actually a liability for a buyer, because they need you to continue to run the business. Unless you're going to stay with the business when you sell it, that's a question that's a big red flag for the buyers. Do your larger customers represent a small percentage of your business? This is very important. You don't want your business to be concentrated in just one or two large clients. And this is a problem that happens many times with commercial or new construction, that you're working with GCs that take most of your business. That is not a good situation for a business to be sold, because the risk is too high. Does your business have competent management in place? This is linked to the number three. You've got to have your employees and your management be able to run your business efficiently without you being there. When you get to that point, you really have been successful in your business, because you don't have to be in the business, and you can be on the business, working on the strategy, on the future, on the vision that you have for that business. How well does your business compete in this market? Who are your competitors? What's your unique value proposition? That's really important as well. And what can the new owner do with your business? If you can spell out the opportunities, that will maximize your valuation. Is your business free of potential legal liabilities? That's a huge issue. And many times we find that throughout the due diligence, you have potential liabilities. Are your physical assets and inventory in good condition and up to date? The buyer will buy all the assets of your business, so they need to be in good condition. And do you have a plan for transition, how you will transition your business to a new owner? Finally, do you have a clear and realistic exit strategy for after the sale? So if you answer all these questions, you'll be very well positioned to sell your business. Now, you will not be in position to maximize the value of your business. To maximize the value of your business, all this is not enough. So what really is needed if you want to maximize the value of your business? To know your numbers, to really understand all your financials. And I'm not talking the accountant that we do to present taxes, is to really understand your financial records. Know your buyers. There's many different buyers for a business, and they buy for different reasons. If you know who they are and you know how they operate and what they're looking for, you can, of course, sell your business for a higher price. Know the legal and financial terms that the buyers work with. The buyers work with specific language that you need to understand, because the more you understand them, the more you can communicate to them the value of your business. to know how to minimize the tax impact. It makes no sense to sell a business just so Uncle Sam takes everything away from you, and you've worked way too hard to just give it all away. So understanding the tax impact will maximize the in-pocket money that you will get for the business. To stay on top of the market trends. Again, you can't really time the market, but you can understand what's going on there, and that's going to help you in your valuation. Understand the sales process. I'm going to go through it really quick in this presentation, but the sales process is key. And to understand it will give you the edge on how to sell for a better value. And have a team. You really need to have a team of accountants, lawyers, and tax planners that really understand the M&A process. It's not the same lawyer, it's not the same accountant, and it's not the same tax planner. And of course, you do need a broker. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. It might sound a little bit like self-serving, but the truth is that it's not. You really need a broker, and you will understand why in a minute. So have your friendly business broker on speed dial. That would be me. And of course, this is a shameless plug, and it's just a joke. Why do you need a broker? So you typically get a lot of calls from buyers all the time. So why would you work with somebody like me? Well, the first one is to balance the playing field. The buyers have been buying businesses or buy businesses for a living. That's what they do. That is what they're expert at. You're not an expert on selling business. You're an expert on selling roofing. So to be able to balance that playing field, you need somebody that speaks their language and speaks your language as well, and can be your buffer and your negotiator for that. You will get a lot more out of working with somebody like me than just working on your own. To have an accurate valuation, how do you know the value of your business? How do you know how much people would work? Is the offer that they're making you actually good, or are you leaving money on the table? The third one is, just because somebody wants to buy your business doesn't mean that, or calls you to buy the business or sends you an email, doesn't mean that they're actually going to go through with it, or that they are your best bet. If you create demand for your business, which is something that we do, you can get the best deal because people will offer and do higher bids. In one of my deals, we started out with a $22 million and we ended up selling the business for 35. And that's because we had over 15 people that were fighting for the business. It was a really good business, and they were fighting for it. And the seller ended up selling for more than $13 million more than what he was expected. So this is really, really important. I know the process. I can guide you through it. The process is long and it's tedious and sometimes, like I said before, very taxing on you. I know what to do and I know how to guide you and your buyer through the whole process until we get to the closing table. Most deals die before they get to the closing table because either the seller didn't know how to answer the questions or the buyer walked away. And my job, one of the biggest part of my job is actually to sell, to walk you through the whole deal. You have a team of experts. You need to talk with people who are experts in this. Like I said before, I can provide you with connections to accountants, to lawyers, and to tax planners, and also to exit planners as well, that will help you make sure you maximize the value of such a legacy that you're leaving behind. Okay? The question for you is, do you really know your numbers? Do you know the number of jobs that you're making a week, a month? Do you know the price per job? Do you know the cost per square? Can you actually say it without thinking about it? Do you know your split, commercial, residential, new construction, new roofs, repairs? There's buyers that will look for commercial. There's other buyers that are going to look for residential. Some of them want new construction. Some of them want just repairs. Well, there's a whole bunch of different buyers out there that will look for different things in your business. What's your cost per employee? Is that equal, higher, or lower than the market? What is your OPEX? What's your CAPEX? What's your EBITDA? What's your adjusted EBITDA? What is your SDE? All of these numbers need to be on top of your mind before we reach one buyer, because all of them are going to be things that the buyers look for when they buy a business. And finally, what is your cash flow? And is it the optimal cash flow or can it be improved? Okay. But most people, they just want a rule of thumb. They want to say, okay, well, Claudia, just tell me how much my business might be worth. And this is the rule of thumb for businesses. But like I said in the presentation, these numbers are very, very, very variable. So, just take them with a grain of salt. If your business makes less than $500,000, your multiplier is going to be around 1 time. So basically, you're not going to get much more than what you get in your business a year. If your business makes between $5 and $2 million and I'm talking about how much money the business makes, not how much your revenues are, you would multiply that for 3. If your business is between 2 and 10 million, you could multiply that for 5, and over 10 million, it could go up to 10 times. The business valuation on one side. So basically, there are many ways to do evaluation, and if there's any accountant there or evaluator can say, oh well, Claudia, you're not giving the whole spectrum of valuation, and it is true. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible to understand. At the end of the day, it's always how much money the buyer will get after he buys the business. So he takes the profits, which in this example would be maybe $1 million, but just to make it round, he multiplies it for something like a 3, and 1 times 3 will make it 3 million. That's simple enough to understand. But then comes the complications, because profit means price versus costs. How much you are charging for those roofs and how much your costs are for those roofs. That will increase your profits, right? Decreasing costs, increasing price, increases profits. But then the multiplier will depend on a lot of different variables. And I'm not going to go through them because I don't want to bore you. You can stop the video right now and read them all. And for each one of them, we can have a whole discussion. But the multiplier will be depending on these and maybe some more that I forgot to put. And finally, that's going to give you the business valuation. So the other question that I always get is, how long does it take to sell a business? And again, I'm not giving you the answer. I'm looking for the market to give you the answer. And this is from the IBBA and the M&A Source, which are two organizations that lead the business brokerage and the mergers and acquisitions. So IBBA is International Business Brokers Association, and the M&A Source is the organization of lower middle market M&A professionals, of which both I am a member of. So the numbers, and again, you can stop this and look at this, but basically the numbers there is the amount of months that it takes to sell a business depending on how big the business is. Now, this is when you actually sell the business. The truth is that more than 80% of the business are never actually sold. And the biggest reason for that is because the seller is typically way too greedy to sell the business, and they want way too much money for it. The steps of a business sell, again, you can stop the video and read them, and each one of them could be used for another webinar. And it starts with, are you ready to sell? Is your business ready to sell? If either one of them are not ready yet, well, then you're going to have to wait. Then we do a business valuation, a pre-due diligence analysis. This is a very important step that most people forget. You don't want to get to the due diligence without having all your ducks in a row. And that will, for sure, at least delay, and it could actually lose your whole agreement. So pre-due diligence is very important. Then you define a strategy, who you're going to contact, how we're going to present your business, what's the best way to present it, and then we put a packaging. We package the business to sell, we create a presentation. Then we put the business on the market. In my case, like I said before, I already have several potential buyers for the roofing market, so I can help you expedite this process. Then you will be receiving offers, you will be doing the negotiation, and you're going to go into the due diligence and quality of earnings. Now, like I said before, if you're not ready for this, this is when most deals die. Then you do the closing, and then you move into the transition, for which you also need to be prepared. In order to sell your business successfully, not just sell it, but being successful, which means getting the most out of it, you need to know your business, you need to know your buyers, you need to know your options, and you need to have a plan. Knowing your business means knowing what the value drivers are. Financials, not accounting. So what are your financials? Do you understand your P&L? Do you understand your balance sheet? And do you understand your cash flow statement and how they tell the story of your business? A good analyst will be able to understand the story of your business just by reading those numbers, and they need to be well presented and of course shine a good light on your business. And from a more a softer approach is what makes your business unique. Why will people contact you to sell their business? Know your buyers. So financial buyers, strategic buyers, why are they buying the business and why are they fearful? If you know your buyers, like I said before, you can cater the presentation to their needs, and it will give you a much more secure, a bigger opportunity to sell your business. Know your options. It's not only about price, it's about terms. How long you want to stay in the business, what they want to pay you in the future, should you be financing your buy, and have a plan. Prepare the due diligence, work on the outreach. That's what I do. That's my part of my job. Be prepared to answer all the questions, and if you work with me, I will work with you in preparing your questions and the potential buyers' questions and how to answer them. Be patient because it does take time, and don't be greedy. Like I said before, most deals die because the business owners that are selling are either too greedy or they're not prepared. So those two are extremely important. So we're going to go into a rapid fire questions now. When should I get ready to sell my business? Like I said before, the day you buy it or the day you start it. When is the best time to sell my business? When you want to sell it, not when you want, but when you have to sell it. When is the worst time to sell my business? When you have to sell it. When do most people sell their business? When they have to sell it. And am I ready to sell my business? No, you're not. With 100% of my business that I took to sell have not been ready to sell. We always need to work a few months before we put it on the market. So you're not ready to sell your business. You should be ready to sell it. I am more than willing to help you work on that process. So to make the presentation not too long, I'm going to finish here with the final words that if you're leaving today with more questions than when you arrived, I considered it a success because now you have the knowledge and the understanding to ask the right questions and embark on a path of discovery. I'll tell you that many of these aspects, these items that I just touched very lightly on this presentation, are key for you to understand and to know, and I'm more than willing to either put a presentation together for you or invite you to a webinar or have a one-on-one conversation where I can explain to you exactly what the key issues are in each one of those items. So with that, you can scan my QR code and go to my website, and you can also call me at 954-774-4141, or you can email me at claudio.vilas@sunbeltnetwork.com. And in the email that accompanies this presentation, you'll have all my contact information. Thank you so much. It's been great to be with you in person and now virtually. And I wish you all the best, and I hope we can continue in touch. Have a great day. Bye-bye.